December 15th, 2025, last Sunday, Pope Leo XIV spoke 5 words that sent a chill through St. Peter's Square. Prophecy, even in chains, remains a free voice searching for truth and justice. And as he said them, he was speaking about you. Because there is an invisible prison, and you're probably inside it without even realizing it. And the scariest part? You could spend this Christmas locked in there without even being able to name that prison. To understand what the Pope means, you have to look at one man, a giant of faith, John the Baptist. He's not a saint for a cute nativity card. He's the man who ate locusts in the desert, the man who shouted truth in the faces of kings, the man who baptized God with his own hands in the Jordan River, while the crowds hailed him as a prophet. But in the Gospel for this 3rd Sunday of Advent, where do we find him? He's no longer in the river. He's no longer surrounded by the crowd. He's locked inside the fortress of Machaerus, a hole carved into rock in the dark, alone, and he knows he will probably die there. And then the unthinkable happens, doubt. John, the prophet of fire, begins to tremble, not from the cold of the prison, but from disappointment. He hears about Jesus, but Jesus isn't doing what John expected. John expected an axe to cut down the bad trees, a fire to burn the corrupt, a warrior Messiah who would bring immediate justice. But Jesus eats with sinners, he heals the sick, he forgives adulterers, he speaks gently to children, and John collapses inside. From behind the bars of his cell, he sends his most trusted friends to Jesus with the saddest question in the Bible. Are you the one who is to come, or should we expect someone else? Do you feel the drama? John is asking, did I get everything wrong? Did I throw my life away for you? And you're different from what I imagined. And here is the point where Leo XIV nailed us at the Angelus. That cell of John's is your mind. The prophecy in chains the Pope speaks about isn't only a physical prison. It is the prison of disappointed expectations. Many people thought the Pope was referring only to prisoners or to those persecuted in wars. Wrong. Leo XIV is pointing straight at an invisible cell in which most Christians have locked themselves by themselves. How many times have you thought, if God really existed, I wouldn't have this problem? I've been praying for months and nothing changes. Where are you, Lord? That is the chain that silences you. It's the moment your faith crashes into the hard reality of life, into the illness that won't heal, into the job that won't come, into the relationship that broke. And like John in his fortress, you risk going out. You risk spending this Christmas pretending to be happy in front of the nativity scene, while inside you're disappointed in God. While inside you're thinking, maybe I believed in an illusion. Maybe God isn't who they told me he is. Does Jesus get offended by John's doubt? Does Jesus say, how dare you? You of all people who baptized me, doubt me? No, he doesn't. Listen carefully to the answer because it's the key to your freedom today. Jesus doesn't send John a theology lesson. He doesn't say, have more faith. He doesn't scold him. Jesus tells the messengers, go and report to John what you hear and see. The blind receive sight, the lame walk, those with leprosy are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, and the good news is proclaimed to the poor. Leo XIV comments with a powerful line, when God comes into the world, you can see it. What does that mean for you today? It means God doesn't answer your mental doubts with philosophical reasoning. He doesn't hand you a logical proof of his existence. God answers with the facts of life. John wanted the fire of judgment. Jesus brought the light of healing. John expected the destruction of enemies. Jesus brought the resurrection of the dead. And here comes Leo XIV's stroke of genius. The Pope tells us something brutal and beautiful. Sometimes God has to disappoint your expectations in order to save your life. Let me tell you what it really means that God must disappoint you. John expected Jesus to enter Jerusalem with an army, to burn the corrupt temple, to execute Herod, the man who had imprisoned him. Instead, Jesus entered Jerusalem on a donkey. He embraced children. He wept over a city that rejected him. And when they arrested Jesus, he didn't call down avenging angels. He let himself be crucified. John's prophecy was in chains because John had a rigid idea of God, a God who had to act in a certain way, a predictable God, a God who would do what John expected. John died thinking Jesus had failed. But 3 days later, Jesus rose, and John's disappointment became the salvation of the entire world. Yours too. Leo XIV is telling us, God is working, just working in a way you didn't foresee. You have to dismantle the magic God in your head, the one who grants wishes like a genie in a lamp, so you can meet the God the Father who acts in reality for your true good. Stop for 20 seconds. Close your eyes. Where is love winning in your life today? Even something small, a kind gesture, an unexpected strength, forgiveness you received. That is God answering, not the way you expected, but He is answering. So how do you set this prophecy free inside you before December 25th? How do you move from disappointment to real joy? Leo XIV gives us a strategy in 2 concrete moves. First, bring your doubt to God like John did. Don't hide it. Don't be ashamed of it. Your prayer can be a cry. It can be a protest. It can be tears. God prefers your shouted truth to your polite silence. Leo XIV assures us, God is not scandalized by our sincere questions. He is scandalized by our hypocrisy. Second, look around in these 10 days left until Christmas. Where is something being reborn? Maybe in that relative who forgave you after years. Maybe in the strength you found this morning to get up despite everything. Maybe in that unexpected phone call. Maybe in the peace you felt while praying last night. The Pope says, from the prison of discouragement, the word of Jesus sets us free. Prophecy becomes free again when you stop staring at what's missing and start seeing what's there. And here comes Leo XIV's final revelation. The Pope ends the Angelus with this hope. The voice may be in chains, but the heart can remain free. John died in that prison. They cut off his head, but his prophecy is still alive today, 2,000 years later. The chains did not win. Because John made the most courageous choice, he brought his doubt to Jesus instead of hiding it. He asked instead of pretending, and Jesus answered him. This Christmas, 2025, can be the usual theater of lights and gifts, or it can be your real liberation. It depends on whether you have the courage of John the Baptist, the courage to admit you need to see Jesus, the real one, not the one you built in your head. I want us to do something concrete here below, in the comments, to break the chains of pride, loneliness, disappointment. Write a prayer of just 4 words, a prayer John would have signed from the bottom of his cell. Write below, Jesus, break my chains. I will read every single comment, every prayer, because when the voice is set free, even if it's only 4 words, God responds. If this video touched you, share it with someone who is living in the prison of disappointed expectations. And don't forget to follow us on our site, Christian Way Center, to receive content that sets you free, not content that traps you. May God bless all of us.